Hey, what's up, everybody? So today we're going to talk about the last Rising Otoko Matsuri card. It was a heavyweight Grand Prix. There was a lot of great fights, so don't miss it. Check it out.
1978とある田舎町で生まれて移り住んだ新宿で育ちこの町で起きたこれまでの俺たちのここまでの生い立ちはほんのまた序の口試されたいちいち正してきた過ち騙し合いやからしないはスニッチの始まり放課後の山椒児童館にホームアローンそんな時間はほったらかして向かったとある場所
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the YAMATODAMASHI podcast. Enson, how are you doing today?
Good, really good. A lot of things happening. A lot of my life's back on track. Everything's good. So everything good.
Yeah. Is there any update on your deportation status?
No. All I know is I got to go in on May 12th to talk to them, and I thought maybe it would have been the decision, but doesn't look like it. Looks like it's going to be like another talk or whatever. I don't know.
Oh no!
But we'll see. We'll see.
So still in limbo. That sucks.
I think it's good though. The more time, the better, because the more time they'll see what I'm doing. They see that I'm really keeping busy here. So hopefully they'll see that. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So we today are going to talk about the recent RIZIN show that happened. The Otoko Matsuri. Hopefully I've said that right, but it was the men's festival, which was a really cool theme. So we're going to cover the show, and I believe you were there live, right?
Yeah, I bought some of they gave me five comp tickets. It was really good. We're in the 8th row.
Wow, that's awesome, especially for the Tokyo Dome, right? That's really cool.
Yeah, that was good. It's good because some of the seats in the Tokyo Dome, the ring was literally like this big.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny enough, my one time going to a UFC show, my experience was that. It was a long time ago. Don't get me wrong. It was, I think, UFC 89, Bisping versus Lieben.
Wow.
So we're talking a long time ago. And the seats we had were like the octagon was like a dot.
Whoa.
I think sometimes unless you got good seats, it's not really worth it.
Yeah, because what's funny, because in the Rising we went and watched, we had good seats, but I wanted to get close to the door before the event ended. So what we did is we left, and I was going to stand at the top and just watch the fight, just so we can watch the fight from the top. And we just figured, we go outside, we walked around the corner, we said, okay, maybe this door will be good to go and watch from the top. And we accidentally walked right into a VIP lounge.
Nice.
So you guys pay for it's like a box, like at the top of baseball games, like they have like a private box where you can order food, has beer and stuff. Well, we walked into one of those.
Wow, nice.
And it was like, we walked in like, whoa, no one's here, no luggage. So like, shit, you know what? I think they must have left after the Mikuru fight. So we just, me, Mecca, Sarah, Sakata, and all of us, we just relaxed in that booth and watched the end. But from those booths, you only can watch the monitor.
Oh, really? It's that far away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's far away, man. But that's a VIP box. I wonder how much it must have cost. Thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I remember we did something similar. We didn't go to the VIP box, but when I was watching RIZIN with you, when it was RIZIN versus Bellator, we watched the main event from like the stage. Like we were right next to the quickest exit to the car park.
We did. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, good times.
Our tickets were about $1,500.
Whoa! Wow.
And they gave me 5, so
that's awesome. RIZIN's still showing love.
That was a good deal.
Love to see it. In fact, actually, that's quite a good place to start because I think I WhatsApped you this while you were watching the show, but at the beginning, the way they kicked off it was with the big opening ceremony, and they actually, they had a couple of the guys all dressed up. They had Jiri Paracha, they had and they had TK, and I said, did they ask you? That's the question.
No, they didn't, and I'm kind of glad they did because I wouldn't look good with my big belly and all those guys. Shit, did you see Kosaka? How good shape he was?
Yeah, he looked in shape.
Everyone was in pretty good shape, man.
Yeah. They even had like Kandori there with like the kind of woman.
Oh my god, I don't know. I don't know even know why they freaking asked her, man. That's so ridiculous. She's a pro wrestler, man. She has no sense being there.
It was random. It was random. What
I
if they
guess
had
she must have a good name, yeah.
maybe good ties with the company? If out of interest, if they had have asked you, would you have done it?
I don't think so.
You
I don't think so. I would have done it, man.
maybe depending on who was by your side, maybe.
No, I mean, if I had time to get in shape and maybe, but I didn't. I felt like it was cool, but it was almost they all seemed almost like Takara replacements,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of wouldn't want to have been like a Takara replacement.
Yeah.
Like he's so big time that they need 8 guys to replace him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was
Yeah. But I
Takada.
thought it was cool that Sakakibara did.
Mm.
And you did you notice Sakakibara's in pretty good shape?
Yeah, and he looked really intense when he was doing it. Like you could tell he proper
Yeah.
got into it. Like he wasn't like, oh, I'm doing this kind of like you could imagine some people in that kind of corporate role would like never do that sort of thing. But he proper, you could
Yeah.
tell he was amped, he was hyped.
He was into it. Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
good, man.
Yeah, no, it got me kicked. Well, I think everybody got hyped after seeing that. So,
Yeah. It was
definitely.
nice to see Coleman there.
It was, yeah. Talk about showing respect to the OGs because, I mean, I guess they just flew him in for it, kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm glad they did, man. I'm glad they're taking care of like guys like Coleman like that, man. Because Coleman was like a big catalyst to the whole rising, man.
Probably one of the
He's a
biggest international
Grand Prix
stars.
champion, everything. And so I'm glad they took care of him, and he seemed really happy. So it was good to see Coleman there.
Yeah.
I didn't get to meet up with him because we were in our seats, so unfortunately I couldn't meet Coleman.
I don't know how long he stayed in Japan, whether there's still time, maybe he's around, but
I think he left 2 days later, 1 day or 2 days later. I saw on his Instagram that he left.
maybe next time, maybe they'll bring him back.
Hopefully, yeah.
So let's get into the show. And I'm going to start with the main event because we had Kleber going against Shaydullaev, and Shaydullaev wins the featherweight championship within just over a minute. What did you think of that stoppage?
I don't know. I thought it was. I just didn't think Kleber would have a chance anyway from the beginning. So I didn't really. I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to the stoppage. I don't know if we saw the stoppage. We were so far away. We just saw him like Kleber drop, and it was kind of like the gong rang. I was like, fuck, he lost. We left.
It was a funny one, right? Because he falls face forward when he first gets hit, so it looks bad. Like immediately looks bad, and you can see why the ref would jump in. But then you can kind of see that when he goes in, he's trying to like turn over. And given how good he is on the ground and the fact that he was a champion, I almost felt like could they let it go 1 or 2 more strikes just in case. But I could see why they're trying to avoid it. But as someone that loves pride rules and wants to see definitive finishes rather than have that air of caution, it was a bit shit. I felt bad for him.
I would rather let it go.
Yeah, exactly right. Like you could tell that he was devastated because I saw some people say that like an extra punch probably woke him up, and that's why he tries to transition to guard, which could be true as well. But it's in so many split seconds. Like I don't, an extra punch is an extra punch. Like, we've seen a lot worse, right? So
yeah. So I didn't think Kleber had a chance. I thought that his opponent would have enough know-how on the ground, especially knowing Kleber's good at the triangle from the bottom. And I don't think that was a position that Kleber would want to be in, in the bottom of this guy's ground and pound.
Yeah, you never know though. His ground game is phenomenal, so it would have been interesting to see what would have happened. But yeah,
if he could have pulled off that triangle, he might have, man.
Hey, Brazilians like Nogueira have done crazy things in the past, right? So you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. But yeah, it would still pretty cool. Now I suppose it's interesting to see what happens with Shaydullaev next, right? So A lot of people are worried he might go to the UFC, given the fact that he's finished every single fight in the first round. So his market price must be pretty high. He's also, his management team is the same team that does Conor McGregor, and I think maybe
Oh
Leon
no,
Edwards.
that's not
Yeah.
good for Rising.
They've got a lot of big UFC names under that management team. So who knows? But I hope he can at least defend his belt once, you know.
Yeah, that'd be nice. You know, I hope that he also took to the Japanese fans.
Seem that way. Definitely.
Japanese fans are amazing. Like, they make you feel like gold. So, you know, I hope that he might get addicted to that and kind of want to stay in Japan. I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, that was a thing for you, especially like the foreign fighters coming over to Pride back in the day, right? But not just the fact that Pride was the biggest stage at that time, but also the fact that you were treated like such celebrities when you're there, right? The fans.
Everybody said that. Or except Rampage didn't really feel that way.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he obviously did get quite a lot of stardom later on in the UFC as well, right? So
yeah.
But I think he felt, especially management didn't treat him as good as they could have. But yeah, let's see what happens with Shaydullaev. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
The co-main event, which we should probably say was most of I'm guessing the fans in the building's main event. Which
was the main event, actually.
Yeah, which was Mikuru Asakura versus Chihiro Suzuki. What did you think of Mikuru's game plan in this fight?
It's very smart. But with someone like Chihiro, he had to actually take chances. Like, he had to create a kickboxing game in order to get an easier takedown. Because if he was just trying to shoot for takedowns, I'm pretty sure Chihiro practiced not getting taken down.
Yeah.
But he took that challenge. He stood in the fire.
Yeah.
I was real impressed to see the punches Chihiro was throwing. Oh my God. It was like you could almost feel the wind in our seats, kind of like he was trying to knock Mikuru's head off.
Yeah, especially because Mikuru had been knocked out by Yama, and you know, some of the other losses he's had recently.
Hiromoto Ren, he got knocked out by Hiromoto.
Yeah, too. Of course. Yeah, Ren knocked him out. So when you see Chihiro, who's knocked out even tougher fighters, right?
Yeah, he knocked out Pitbull.
Yeah, so you're like, whoa. But I guess a lot of the exchanges, I suppose, came later on in the fight as well, when Chihiro had been like probably worn down quite a bit. Plus,
did you notice that Mikuru was seeing all the punches coming?
He seemed that way.
He would move or he would duck every punch. I mean, it was like, whoa, he's got a good eye, man.
Yeah, he definitely looked like he was on form. Looked better than he had. I felt like his game plan was great. The fact that he took him down quite early on in the rounds, get him into the corner as well, make it really hard for him to get out.
And the weird part about it, though, was it didn't look like Chihiro was trying to get up at all. He was closing his guard. He was wrapping his hands around Mikuru's hands. It was like almost like he gave up in the guard. Like he knew he wasn't going to do anything.
It almost felt like a bit of lack of experience, I guess. I know maybe because he's kickboxing background, but yeah, it wasn't as active as I would have thought off his back.
Yeah, he didn't seem like he was trying to get up. I think he needed to get up.
It's funny, if you take away the crowd and you just probably watch this fight on mute, it's probably pretty dull fight for most of it. But because of that crowd and that energy and that love for Mikuru, right? Like, it felt like a great fight. Yeah, it just shows his level of star power is just insane. Like, do you feel...
I like the fight too, because both guys threw caution to the wind. They were just going for it, you know, especially the standing. And it's kind of funny to see that right after, like, the heavyweights, you know, they don't want to throw punches at each other. They're like, in the beginning they did, but after a while they're like looking at each other, breathing at each other, you know. Pretty disappointing.
We'll get into that heavyweight tournament because was not the best of starts. But yeah, no, overall really cool. Where do you want to see both guys go next?
I mean, Mikuru needs to fight Hiromoto Ren. He has unfinished business with Hiromoto Ren. This whole event was based around Mikuru and Hiromoto Ren.
Do you think they hold off and do that on New Year's Eve?
Yes, I think so. Because you know, when the rumor, as soon as Hiromoto Ren was announced that he got hurt, they actually canceled the whole event.
Really? Wow.
And when Mikuru was still willing to fight, that's when they brought it back. It was actually canceled.
Wow. It's good they brought it like that he did that, right? And I think he's now
I think
the rematch feels bigger than it did before.
that whole arena was full. It was unreal. I don't know what capacity they set it to. It was either 50,000 or 80,000.
Really? Wow.
But it was full. All the way in the top seats in the nosebleeds, it was full.
The commentary team, Michael Chavello and Damian Brown that were there, they said it was like one of the loudest they'd ever heard for that fight. Really, was that your impression as well? Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. Usually the Japanese fans are pretty quiet, but that Mikuru fight, they were going crazy.
Yeah, for a lot of ground fighting as well, right? I tell you one fight that was a banger: Akimoto versus Ryo Takagi. Those guys are so young and like so early in their careers, but absolute war. I mean, do you think that was fight of the night?
Yeah, Akimoto was unreal.
Yeah. He's what, like
I mean, and now think about it. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was one of the best fights of the night. Probably the best.
That was surprising how composed Akimoto was.
I mean, people think he's like the next Horiguchi kind of thing, the next big Japanese star, right?
He might be, man. He's really good.
Be interesting. He obviously lost to Montoya.
He did. He was a kind of exposed to Montoya, you know? But damn, I thought maybe he might be a little gun shy, maybe he might be a little scared, but he looked like he was ready to go, man. I mean, even in the ground scrambles. So Takagi is a pretty good ground fighter too. He's an all-rounded fighter. So I thought that maybe Akimoto might be like controlled on the ground, but no, he beat Takagi everywhere.
And he's what, like 18, 19 years old? Like that's insane.
He's a little Baba.
That's crazy. So
yeah,
bright future for him.
Yeah, looking forward to his future.
Yeah, I don't know who they put him up against next. Because what's that? 135. I'm thinking
they're going to give him someone really tough.
Yeah, they probably will. I mean, that's usually how RIZIN does their matchmaking, right? If you look at especially, and we'll come to it on this card. There's definitely some tough matchmaking. There was also Hagiwara who got a really good win, who's also chasing Mikuru. Given there's a bit of time between
that's another possibility.
I mean, this is where I was going. There's a bit of time between New Year's Eve. Do you have a fight in between where you do Mikuru versus Hagiwara?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think even if Mikuru were to lose to Hagiwara, I don't think that'll be I don't think it'll dampen the Hiramoto and Mikuru.
Yeah, and that's another big paycheck for RIZIN to get that fight on the card.
That's a huge fight, man. That is a huge fight.
Especially with Hagiwara getting 2 knockouts in the last 2 fights. Like, he's looking good. He's making statements. He's got that beef that he's had with Mikuru before. It's kind of rekindling that. Like, it's a rematch. I think they do it. I think if Mikuru agrees to it, then, you know, he could imagine the paychecks he's going to get from this fight and then potentially those 2 in this year. This year, I don't know. He'll probably be one of the highest paid athletes in Japan, I'm guessing.
I wonder what. I don't even know about the pay, what they're getting paid now.
He must make a shitload because he makes tons of money on breaking down, right? So, and his YouTube channel. So,
yeah, he probably doesn't even need the fight money. Might actually be real petty compared to what he makes on YouTube.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Interesting. But yeah, so Hagiwara, he looked really good. Nice to see him back in the winning column. Let's get into this heavyweight tournament because it was a bit of a dark patch on the cloud, bit not on the card, not the most appealing fights, but you know, let's start with your ex-student Sudario. Let's go over there because you've got the history with him. I think it makes sense. What did you think of his performance?
I thought he got lucky in the first round. He got dropped and he was out. He was on Bambi legs, and the guy decides to hold his hands up and celebrate, and give him time to recover. So I actually used that footage to show my students today. I said, "This I do not want you guys to do. You guys gotta fight. it's almost like you got to beat that guy twice because you let him recover.
Yeah.
So I made sure they understood that, you know, if you get this chance right here, you got to finish the fight. So I think Sudario got lucky, and I believe that he got a little gun shy from that. Because he wasn't coming on, and the only time he threw punches was almost because the guy was throwing punches at him. He didn't really come out from his side and create an offense.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta be honest, right? I like without you, his career does not seem to be going very well. And I think that particular situation, right, where he's been knocked down, he needs someone like you in his corner to kind of reset him, get him back on track, remember what he learned. You know, you're renowned for having that mental toughness and instilling it in your guys. So in that situation, that's the perfect example where he would have needed an Enson Inoue in his corner, but he doesn't have it anymore. And
speaking about his cornerman, did you see in the middle of the fight he was having an argument with his cornerman?
I did not see that. No.
Yeah, if you watch the fight, I don't know what round that was. Second round, maybe, or third round.
Okay.
He was. You could see him like kind of like he kind of almost like he was like. It almost looked like he flipped them off. I don't know.
Really, Jesus.
And what I find out from the grapevine is he was kind of criticizing his cornerman because he couldn't hear what they were saying in the corner.
Oh, no way. I don't.
Yeah. So
where's he training at the moment? Because it's like I see him with the Brazilian guys or something.
I don't know. I know from there's Ronnie Marks from Las Vegas that runs Pohada Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
He actually helped Tsuyoshi because he trains Tsuyoshi in Vegas.
Right.
They have a super good academy, a super good system there. The gym is amazing. When Sarah comes back, I want to send her there to train. But anyway, Ronnie had a game plan. Ronnie sent two guys from Brazil, a purple belt jiu-jitsu and a striker. So I would guess that he had really good training.
Yeah.
Rumor is that he didn't follow the strategy. Are you surprised, though?
I mean, that's been a theme. If you go back in our previous podcasts, we've talked about it, about not following certain strategies.
Yes. Unfortunately, man, I don't know why he doesn't listen to his coaches. I mean, you got guys like Ronnie or me, you know, we got so much experience, and we're telling him, you know, this is the game plan, and he decides to, you know, he has his own game plan that he thinks is better. And it's proven to not work for him every time and time again.
Yeah, there's so many times, like the Tafa fight, like Shibisai fight.
Shibisai, Tafa, the Mikio fight.
Yeah.
And this fight is apparently the plan was to get close and single leg takedown this guy.
Really?
Didn't see a single. I didn't see anything anything near him trying to do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, I can feel the frustration for the guys who train with him and coach them, because I felt that way. Like, man, why doesn't he do what we say? I mean, at one time in the Mikio fight, I actually told him in the middle of the round, like, dude, you gotta. And I think it was before he got knocked out. I said, you gotta close distance, man. You got to get this guy down. Don't stay in the kicking range. This guy's kicks are too dangerous.
Yeah.
He did it. I guess he had other ideas and other plans. So what can you do, man?
I don't know. I don't know what happens with him next as well. You know, he's out of the tournament now. I'm not really sure where
they would have to give him a one-match fight, but does Rising want him to fight in Rising, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, and I've got to ask you, right? I messaged you this at the time because I was obviously I can't speak Japanese, but I could certainly pick up when they were showing the video package. They kept referring to YAMATODAMASHI in Sudario's sort of opening VTR. What was that about?
I'm not sure. Say they called it Leiwa. Leiwa is just generation,
right?
So they're saying this generation YAMATODAMASHI. They're calling him like. I don't know who. I mean, I don't know who in Rising decided that. I don't know why. What gives them any idea that, especially now that he's not with me?
Yeah.
What gives them any idea that he would be able to represent YAMATODAMASHI? I mean, I have no idea. When I saw that, I was like, pretty much, you know, what? YAMATODAMASHI? Why are you guys using that?
Yeah, and obviously they're using those old clips with you in the background and everything, and it was like, this is. Do you know what? There's almost a point where I was like, is it something I don't know? And you're about to walk out with him or something, because it almost felt like that. Is before I knew you even at the show.
Well, what's funny? What's funny about that is I bet a lot of the crowd that don't know.
Don't know the full
I
story
still get
behind
a
it.
lot of comments on my live streams when I do on YouTube. They're asking me, "Oh, how is Yoshi doing?" And I'm like, "I'm not with him anymore." And they're kind of like, "Whoa, what?" So I guess I really haven't made it public. Yeah,
I guess.
I'm
Yeah,
not at that point to talk shit about him or talk bad about him.
Yeah.
I just I do believe in just stepping back and letting the world find out on its own.
Yeah, you've been super objective, right, with what you've talked about. Like, we're talking about his performance here. You're just giving your opinion as his former coach, which I think is completely fair. We're not shitting on him or anything.
Yeah.
You mentioned before about his fight with Ueda, the leg kicks. We saw exactly that when Ueda and Shibisai got into it, right? Ueda just absolutely laying in those leg kicks, and Shibisai's legs hit their knees. They were kind of like taped up before, and
yeah, but apparently they trained together.
Yeah, that's what I
So
heard, right?
apparently that wasn't Shibisai's bad leg. So apparently Ueda did not want to kick Shibisai's injured leg.
Rate that.
The leg he kicked was Shibisai's better leg. But look like he fucked that one up too now.
That's crazy.
I can see Ueda. He's such a nice guy. I can see him doing that. He doesn't want to hurt Shibisai. I can see him doing that.
Yeah, because I was thinking that it was the other knee that was taped up, and he's just drilling the other one. Didn't take long. What was it, like a good couple of them?
Yeah. So instead of fucking up the hurt knee more, he fucks up his good knee now.
Yeah.
Is that a real friend? Which is the friend? What would a friend do? Maybe hit the injured knee since he's already injured. Maybe.
I don't know.
Now he got two bad knees.
Dude, yeah, exactly. Now he's gonna need a wheelchair. Right. But yeah, we did. I don't think Shibisai, I feel but sorry for him because he didn't really get to show kind of his best performance there. It was a bit of a shame they kind of matched up the two together. I would have preferred to see kind of all Japanese versus.
Well, you know what's also a good strategy with that? You're guaranteed to have a Japanese in the second round.
True. I guess.
Semifinals, at least there's a Japanese instead of 4 boring foreigners.
Yeah, that's true. If it had been a clean sweep.
You know what's wild though? Is I started messaging Rising because they're bringing in Ryan Bader.
Yeah.
They should be building a heavyweight division. If they're going to get Ryan Bader, and that's like a waste, man. If they're going to let him just fight this Grand Prix guy, they should bring in. I mean, I'm trying to get Ronnie Marks.
Yeah.
I mean, they need to bring someone like that in.
They're going to need more, right? And the problem was this opening round of the tournament was like the worst look for it, really, right?
Well, Takagi Bada said himself that these foreign fighters, he doesn't think the Japanese fans feel like they want to see him fight again.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I made the joke that the Marak, the Polish guy, and Daniel James, it was like the intermission started early. That fight sucked. It was so not what the fans wanted to see. It was like, I don't know.
One of the fights got postponed to the Sapporo event.
Yeah, I don't know how those guys would have performed, but
it was because of some type of injury, and they were like kind of like, how the hell you get the injury like a week before the fight when you gotta you're just tuning down, your training's simmering, you're just preparing, getting timing, staying moving. How you? I was like a bad knee injury or something.
Yeah, I don't know, but hopefully they put that in, or maybe. But yeah, I know what you mean, right? They're investing, bringing in Ryan Bader, former Bellator champion. Oh, he lost to the PFL guy recently. What's his name? Forgotten it already. That lost to Francis. But other than that, he had a pretty stellar career. It's kind of interesting to bring Ryan Bader in. It's coming in, obviously, with his movie performance, which we're going to get into in a future episode, as he's part of the Smashing Machine. But it was, interesting. They've gone down that route. I feel like I think they were probably thinking we're going to have these killer fights in the open weight and it's going to get people excited for it. And then we're bringing in Ryan Bader, so it's going to kind of top it off. but it just didn't really pan out so far that way. So they're gonna have to deepen the roster. But I think it's kind of.
I wonder if Sakakibara will change his mind about even bringing Ryan Bader in.
Maybe, right? It's. I mean, we've seen that. We've seen him do a
It might not
180.
be worth it, man.
He's done it in the past, right? Where we've seen people announced and then they've never materialized. So
yeah, like they tell Rising Hawaii, and all of a sudden it's like, what happened to Rising Hawaii?
Rising Hawaii, and didn't they bring in like tiger masks? They brought in like Sayama's kid, right? And said we're gonna debut him.
Oh,
And,
it's some students. Yeah, he has some students that fought.
And then he never I don't think they ever fought in Rising. Like so.
It just disappeared. It fizzed out. Yeah.
Yeah, before we had the Manny Pacquiao fight, right? We got told Manny Pacquiao was going to come in, and that was like, and it didn't happen for like another 2 years. So,
and the Ryan Garcia Ampo fight disappeared.
Things change, things drop and change. Some of it out of their control, but maybe that will change given how things went. But hey, they got quite a lot of press for it. I saw the MMA Hour covered it. A few other outlets were covering that Bader was there, that Coleman was there, that Jiri was there. So they get good international press when they do that sort of stuff.
Oh, good. That's good. Yeah.
They did make some fight announcements. So they announced for the Sapporo card, Horie versus Nishikawa, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know you know Nishikawa pretty well, right?
Yeah.
How do you see that?
I almost feel like that Horie is too big. Oh, maybe I think he might be too big for Nishikawa's fighting. Nishikawa's fighting. He was a disappointment, man.
He didn't do great in PFL, right? He had those
fights.
Well,
he was a disappointment because I actually started helping him. I sent him gis. When I went to Sapporo, I went to watch his training, give him some tips because his name is Yamato. His dad's like a huge fan of mine, and he ended up like trying to double contract Shuto in UFC. That was a huge disappointment. And then after that, then he goes to PFL and fights like in a higher weight class
against tough guys,
and gets like beaten up and just disappears. It's such a disappointment, that kid. Well, good to see him back though.
Yeah. See what he can do.
Yeah, he's a Sapporo boy too, so he'll bring in a crowd.
Yeah, it's kind of. I think it's a really good fight to see kind of where he's at. If he's going to be in this Ryzen featherweight division, Ryzen lightweight division, sorry. Be good to see where he lands because Horie is quite a good test, right?
Horie is good. Horie's not no slouch.
Yeah, he's not a bum to beat. So it would be interesting to see kind of where he's at.
Yeah, it would be.
We had Koji and Sina in the boxing match. What was your take on that fight?
That was ridiculous. I don't even know why they had that fight.
It's kind of like
it made no sense. Made no sense whatsoever.
The build was about Koji's like apology, right? Was it like drink driving and crashing his car or something?
Yeah, that was totally forced, man. That was like totally like, oh, I don't know about that. It was just. I just think there was just like almost like forcing the circus. The before the Pride Circus style. Yeah. I didn't like it.
Add an extra freak show fight. The fight itself was all right. Koji's got a hell of a chin, to be fair, because Cena's a big guy. He's landing those bombs. Like he took a lot of big punches, and I was like, wow.
Koji's tough, man. Koji is tough.
What do you think of Cena?
As a fighter, I don't know. He's big, yeah. So he's tall. I think he has a great spinning back fist. And I think he has a weak jaw. He could be doing good, and one punch could change the whole fight. But I don't know. So I don't know if his all his illegal stuff he does. I don't know if it's like a gimmick or he does that on purpose. Like he's trying to play the heel.
Yes.
I'm not sure if that's what it actually is, but if it's not and it's really just him, that's how he is, I kind of don't like it.
done some questionable stuff, and there's definitely some referees that have felt some shots. Obviously, you look after Sattari now. Sattari is part of Team YAMATODAMASHI. It was just announced that he's signed with K1.
Yes.
Maybe that's a fight in his future.
Sattari Sina is actually in the possibility.
I think that's a pretty compelling fight.
That would be a good fight.
But they just announced Sattari has an opponent, right? I saw that on X this morning.
Yes, a Romanian guy, I think. Or yeah, I think it was.
I think he fights.
Good fighter. It's a good fighter. It's not a pushover.
Yeah. I don't think he's known that well to the K1 audience, right? But he's done pretty well in Holland by the time.
He's like an Orlando champion. He was a champion in some type of Orlando event.
Nice. So it should be good.
So no slouch. So Sattari's gonna have to be ready. He's gonna train hard. So May 31st. You know what's real funny about that? It falls on Yuji's fight.
Oh, really? No
Yuji
way.
fights on May 31st. So of course, if I'm gonna have to pick a fight, it's gonna have to be Sattari's.
Oh, okay. Not Yuji.
It's definitely a bigger fight. That's actually more. Sattari's been training harder, and K1's huge, man. So we got to get Sattari to do good in that.
Yeah. Poor Yuji. Was Sera corner Yuji?
I think Sera might come with me to Sattari's. I'm not sure. Oh, maybe that's actually not a bad idea, because I think the corner for Sattari would be me and Zuzu.
Yeah, I was gonna say Zuzu's like a long time. Yeah, for Sattari. So
that's not. Sera would probably have to stay back in corner. Yuji,
yeah. Hey, you got to cover all bases, teammates. You got a
it's
lot
not
going
close
on.
behind. It's not close together too. It's like Yuji fights in Tokyo. Sattari fights way out in Yokohama.
Yeah, not exactly ideal. Have to see. Maybe when the times come out, you can have a think about it. See what you guys can do.
It's going to be interesting too, though, to be back in K1 again.
Yeah. When was the last time you were at K1?
Was Yamamoto Kid when he fought Naranton.
Wow, that's a long time ago. That was the last time.
The whole K1 staff has changed.
I was gonna say, because you negotiated Sattari's contract, right? How did that compare to negotiating Kid's contract?
Oh, it actually went pretty good, man. Kid's contract, I pretty much strong-armed K1. You know, I kind of scared them and pretty much made them give us contract. What's funny with this one is the guy who is running the show now for K1. He came in and he told me, I'm so glad you're here to help us with negotiate. And he said, I got to tell you a story. I said, oh, no. I said, what? Did I do something? He goes, yeah. He said, he used to be security or like almost like one of the staff at a kickboxing event. And he said that at one event, he was downstairs in the locker rooms stopping anyone that didn't have a pass to get in. And he said that Kid tried to get in. And he went and stopped Kid, and Kid kind of sort of, what the fuck? I'm with the Kid, what the fuck? And kind of like grilling him. And he thought that he said he honestly thought that Kid was gonna beat him up or punch him. And he said then he saw me come from inside. I was already in the area. I had a pass. I came from inside and I saw the commotion. And he said the biggest thing he does, oh no, I got Enson and Kid now on me. What am I gonna do? And he said, I walked up to Kid and I told Kid, I looked at Kid, I told Kid, hey, you know what? Shut up. This guy's just doing his job. Don't force your way in. You don't have a pass. Don't threaten him because he's doing his job. So go wait outside. I'll talk to you later. And Kid left. And he said he was so grateful. And he wanted to thank me. And he finally could thank me. Like,
wow,
a decade later. Yeah. So I was like, whoa. And so I don't know if that helped, but that might have made the negotiations really easy because he was really easy to work with.
Nice. That's good. That's
very honest. Of course, he didn't bend over and give everything we wanted, but he had good reasons. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like they were trying to cheat us. It was pretty a nice, smooth negotiation.
Yeah, because that's not the feedback you hear about K1 at the moment, right?
It's a bad feedback. That's why I went in there thinking I got to have my guard up because K1's going to try and fuck you. Yeah. And the contract they're going to have is going to be like pretty much the end of the guy's career if he ever leaves K1. But no, we got a super good contract, good fight money. We got clauses changed. I mean, to a point where they do not want us to tell other fighters what we got.
Okay.
Not just fight money. The clauses have all changed. So
Really?
they really worked with us, and they really, gave us a real fair deal, man.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. I really hope K1 can kind of turn things around. They, from an international fan point of view, they did the whole reboot. They did like this big reboot. We're gonna make it easy for you to watch shows, and still fucking impossible to watch K1.
They don't have stars. That's why I think they're really banking on Sattari.
They should. They should. He's got star power.
And it's funny because we're gonna do a photo shoot tomorrow and an interview, and the whole theme is going to be that blue-eyed YAMATODAMASHI samurai.
Awesome. That's cool. I like that. Yes, sorry, man. He's got it. He's got charisma. He's got all sorts. I'm kind of gutted not seeing him in Ryzen, to be honest. But as you said, weight classes.
We wanted that. We wanted that. But you know what? This is better because even Rising, it would have been one fight and then, okay, what's next? You know?
Yeah. This is kind of like you can game plan for what's coming.
Yeah, there's a big story that they have. They want him to go for the K1 belt. You know, they're going to have him fight right before the title match.
Nice.
And they're thinking if Sattari can win convincingly, they might actually give him the next title shot.
Decent. Yeah.
So a lot of interesting, a lot of very exciting movements.
Yep. That is cool. Couple more things on this show. What did you think of Taisei Sakuraba and Daisuke Nakamura? Kind of a big mismatch in terms of experience, but it was exciting going into it, I felt.
I felt that Taisei just screwed up at the end. He was doing really well.
Yeah.
He was picking up Nakamura apart, and he just went to the ground, and he got control on the ground. And I think that Nakamura got lucky, I believe.
Because Nakamura's got 60 plus fights, so he's got that experience, and he knows that those like arm locks like inside and out. So
yeah, he does.
Yeah, there was a lot of people complaining about the fact that, you know, build up. It's very different, I suppose, because on the Western side of things, you'd have a prospect and you want him to kind of work his way up slowly, right? Like think of
especially Sakuraba's son, yeah.
Yeah, like think of a Bo Nickel, for instance. They in the beginning they kind of gave him, they built him up slowly. Sage Northcutt. They tried to build that before they gave the big fights. Whereas
true.
Sakuraba's son Ota, they just kind of chuck him into like the wolves half the time with these guys with.
It's weird how Rising does that though. I'm really surprised at what they do because even when they had Miu and Enson, those are big names, man. I mean, Miu's huge in Japan. Enson is the DNA of Kid, I mean, and they give Enson Kron Gracie.
Yeah. The one thing I'd say though is that it works from like an intrigue point of view because you always go into the fight, you always think like, but what if? Like even that Taisei fight, I was like, what if? I think he can do it. Like it'd be interesting, be a great win for him. So, and then even when it doesn't pan out, they don't really feel like a huge less of a star. They seem to bring them back, and even though they've had the loss, it still feels like a big deal. Their next fight, it's kind of part of their story.
That is true. If Enson, and on the other hand, if Enson beat Kron, that would have been like boom, superstar, the next Kid.
That's it exactly. So it's like I don't hate it. Like some people do, and I think it's because they're in that mindset of you got to build up the prospect and then have them the big fights. Whereas sometimes it's interesting when you take someone that is like an exceptional talent in a different discipline, and then you've given them quite a tough test. So it's a very Saki Kabara booking, right? It's very like unique to Ryzen, but I think it works. I think it's good.
Well, you know what was surprising was Miu and Reina. They had two female stars, and it's why on like their second fight would you make them fight each other and then eliminate one of them? I was kind of surprised at that too.
That was big. I guess they were trying to kick off that division a little bit, I think, and maybe just yeah. But hindsight is everything. Big foreigner made his debut. Danny Sabatello did all sorts of trash talk leading up to the fight. And then he takes on Ota.
And he walked the walk.
He looked huge as well. I was like, wow, he's 135. He looks like a giant in there.
I don't know if anyone's gonna be able to beat him.
I would pick Sabatello over Inoue when they do that fight.
Yeah,
'Cause
I think so too. I think
I think they
Sabatello's too fast, too strong. His wrestling's good. He's
yeah.
powerful. Fuck, I think that guy. I don't know if that guy's gonna take the rising belt, and
I hope
he's.
so.
I think he's gonna be unbeatable for a while.
And he seems like he's really in on being there as well. It seems like he's signed like quite a few fight deal contracts. So it's good to have those type of players, ones that aren't, with UFC dreams and off to the next one. He's looking at it as like, this is my career. So he looked really, really impressive. I know Ota kind of like knocked himself out with the slam. They were saying that like he kind of hit his head
He
like
hit
when he
his
went
own
down.
head on a wrestling takedown, which is supposed to be a gold medalist set. Yeah.
Yeah, which is unfortunate for him, but he Sabatello the whole fight looked great. So I'm
Well, for
excited.
him to have done what he did to someone like Ota
Hmm.
in all aspects of the fight,
Yeah.
it's like that guy's good, man.
Yeah, because I mean Ota might be the person in Ryzen that has had the hardest roster of guys that he's had to face. Like every fight, he gets someone that's got ridiculous levels of experience, and
Yeah.
so I don't know his career. I don't know what they're gonna do with it next. He needs an easy fight. They got to give him an easier fight for this next one because he's fought killers like the whole
Give him a
time.
little break, yeah.
Give him a break. The guy's earned it. Like I know he talked a big game, right? But they gotta do it.
Yeah.
Another big one with fans, Hiroya and Shinotsuka. Hiroya gets a big win, crucifixed him, just
Hiroya
absolutely.
pretty much introduced him to MMA.
Yeah, it's a very good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Because Shinotsuka has got like star power written all over him. Like when he had that bad win, like he looked fantastic. He's got really good
And
hands.
it's striking solid, man.
Striking is awesome to watch. He's just got to get that MMA. And I don't. I think it's gonna take him a while after that fight. Like seeing his ground game, there were things he probably could have done to get out of that position, right?
He was like a fish out of water, man.
Yeah, it was a lot like Ashizawa when Ashizawa did his MMA.
Yeah. Unfortunately, man, because too bad. Yeah, he's a real sellable guy too.
Yes, yeah, both those guys, big stars. So
Yeah.
I mean, either hopefully K1 gets a little bit better, could bring some of these guys back, or they can evolve more in MMA. Because I don't really want to see Ryzen do kickboxing unless it's like a one-off kind of thing. I'd much rather keep it MMA if possible.
Yeah.
Two split. The same with like I wouldn't want to see K1 do MMA.
Yeah, true.
And thoughts on Enson's performance against Tomizawa?
Perfect performance. I mean, he did exactly what he needed to do. He created an offense on the standing, and when Tomizawa was getting comfortable at the standing, he changed levels, and Enson's wrestling just top notch.
Looks good.
Yeah. So I mean, if Tomizawa, I believe Tomizawa was just too inexperienced in MMA. He underestimated the ability of getting taken down by a top wrestler. He underestimated totally. If he didn't, he would have stayed a lot further. He would have been more cautious on the striking. He just went and closed the distance too fast and too easy and made it real easy for Enson to take him down.
Yeah, Enson looks good, man. This latest stint of his sort of comeback tour, the last
Enson's solid, man. Enson's got a lot better.
Yeah, he has. Like I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with him next. Right, it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting stuff going on in Ryzen with the flyweight tournament
coming
up. It's a really exciting division. I think 125, 135, and 145 are really hot divisions in Ryzen right now. They got a lot of talent in those three divisions, especially. You need to work on the women's division. They need some more fights. And yeah, lightweight has its moments with Souza as the champ, but they could do a few more fighters, I think, in that one. And then we won't get into heavyweight because we kind of covered that. Final fight before we close this out. The Fuji TV guy.
I
Versus...
didn't even see that fight.
Oh, you didn't? Wow,
no.
It was.
How was that?
Oh, you need to go back and watch it. It's something else. He's
Really?
yeah, Asahisa, obviously an absolute killer with the striking. And this Fuji TV guy is just running all around the ring, and then he absolutely got murdered. So it was,
God,
he was trying to showboat, do everything, and
it was like a circus then.
Yeah, it was. Don't get me wrong, it's not like Akimoto versus Takagi, not that type of fight. It was just more just check it out just for your own interest. It was cool. It was a cool fight. But yeah, that was a hell of it. But overall thoughts on the show and the live experience?
It was pretty good. I thought it was good. I thought it I mean, especially with the two last fights, really pumped the crowd up.
Yeah.
I felt it ended with a big bang, which is really important.
I feel like both those fights felt like really big main events when they were happening. They felt, especially the featherweight, I was like, I really want to see this fight, see what happens. So yeah, really good show. Another one knocking it out of the park. We've got the Korea show coming up. That should be
The Sapporo show doesn't look too good though.
Yeah, it looks pretty weak, right?
A couple fights, there's a couple of fights that might be interesting, but other than that, it's kind of like who's that?
I think it's a lot of regional guys or something, right? Because
Sapporo, a lot of Sapporo guys.
Yeah. I was a bit surprised at that. Because there's a lot of people on the roster that probably could do with some fights. So it'll be good to see a few more coming up. Any other thoughts on this episode before you want to jump off?
No, that's it. It was a good card. I enjoyed they got us real good tickets. I really enjoyed the event, and looking me, it was kind of funny because on my Japanese YouTube channel, me and Sarah did like it was during the event, like after every round, we would talk about, I think he should be doing this more. You see what he does in the second round to do this, he has to do this and do that, and it took really well. The Japanese fans really liked it.
Nice. You have to do it again.
I think we got like 43,000 views already.
Wow, that's good.
Good. So we might we're thinking of actually doing more of that.
Yeah. Hey, we'll get 43,000 views on one of these one day. Enson might have to go to jail again, but
the jail one did good, yeah.
The jail one's too good. Anything crime related, Yakuza related, we do pretty well.
Oh God, yeah.
But yeah, you gotta keep those hands clean. We don't want you going back to jail.
We have to.
Okay, so next episode we're gonna be talking all about the Smashing Machine trailer. We're gonna be getting Enson's reception to it. So look out for that. Stay tuned. In the meantime, anyone's got any questions or have any particular topics that they want us to touch on, let us know. Put it in the comments.
Yep.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll speak again soon.
All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. That was a great Rising card. The next episode is going to be out the Smashing Machine trailer. My character's in it. I have an Olympic gold medalist playing me. So we're going to talk about that. Don't miss it. Check you guys out later. Subscribe and follow and like. Right on.